Peace, family. I was listening to this live earlier today on TikTok, and the topics of intelligence and race came up. Initially, it was a response to somebody trying to discredit the fact that Kamala Harris' book was #1 on the bestsellers list. Then it moved on to race and black women being the most accomplished educationally out of all the people on the planet. Then, you get these M.A.G.A supporters, these Trump supporters, doing things that you didn't think you associated with these people, that they actually know how to read. They come up with this information based on some U.S. Census Bureau that he talked about back in 1700s that attributed this ranking to Asian women. Asian women are really the true educated race of people. Well, even if what he said was 100% true, that would still put black women #2. And when you look at the communities where Asian people come from and the communities that black women come from associated with this country, even being the second intelligent group of people on the planet would be a huge major accomplishment. But let's look at this a little bit more in depth. When you look at the community where Asian women come from, the rights, freedoms, privileges, and liberties associated with the respectable, dignified quality of life was all intended for the Asian people. But when you compare that to blacks, and I want black people to pay particular attention to this, all the rights, all the freedoms, all the privileges, all the liberties, all the laws associated with a respectable, dignified way of life was never intended for black people to succeed. We were an afterthought. And when you look at the disciplined society that Asians come from and compare that to the undisciplined society that blacks have to go through, it shows without a shadow of a doubt that black people, and especially black women, have been punching above their weight class for decades. And to go back into 1700, when you're talking about some Census Bureau, and we was, because he said that you were legally allowed to participate in the census. And that's if you chose to participate. But being legal and illegal are two totally different things. Back in 1700, it wasn't even legal for blacks to know how to read, male or female. So even if a black person could legally participate in the Census Bureau, if they even knew what that sign said, it was punishable by death. And then you got the nerve to try to use this point to try to discredit the accomplishments of blacks. Like I said, I didn't even know M.A.G.A knew how to read, let alone open up a book. But that would inspire them to do that, or just to try to find something to put down or mitigate the accomplishments of black people. And the fact that you have black women, when you see what we have to navigate to get through success in this country, you having black women graduating from high school, college, getting degrees in higher learning at an early age, and even some of these women are doing it with 1, 2, and 3 children on their hips, and they are and they're still achieving. Asian women never had to go through that. And see, and this is why I'm a staunch supporter and always be a believer in having segregated communities. Because see, I am so sick and tired of living in 2025 that soon as somebody say anything positive about blacks' accomplishments, achievements, or ambitions, you get somebody from the dumbest group of people on the planet, which is MAGA supporters. And even they are inspired to do something that you never thought they could do. Not only read, but research. But they'll try to find something to try to mitigate or marginalize our accomplishments. And I would just love to see the day where our children can come up in an environment where all the rights, all the freedoms, all the privileges and liberties was specifically intended for the betterment and improvement of our people. I don't want my children and children's children and my children's children's grandchildren to sit up here and know that all these things, well, we were afterthought. We wasn't even thought of when these liberties were being dealt out. That's sickening to me. But one of these days, we're going to wake up and realize that we don't have to integrate with whites to achieve a better way of life. We can segregate and make laws specifically for our people, do for ourselves, and at the very least interact with white people. But we don't never should have to be resorting to have to integrate with them. But I'm going to end this video here, and as always, these are my thoughts, my opinions. I invite you to leave yours in the comments, and I'll see you in my next video. Ashe.